What the fuck is a sushi burrito?
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one on the list.
It's just a giant ass roll. Welcome to The Worst Asian Podcast, where a couple Asian American millennials give you our shitty opinions on all things Asian. My name is Linji. I'm here with my co-host, Ben.
Hello, what's up?
You made it on time today.
I did.
Only 5 minutes late.
Only 5, baby.
Which technically for you is half an hour early.
Yes. We're just laughing right now because we had a little technical difficulties.
Yeah, we went over
apparently.
maybe 5-10 minutes of recording this.
Of great material, by the way.
And I completely forgot to press the record button. So here we are, take number 2.
Blasphemous.
Coming up today, we discuss Asian fusion food, which I think, personally speaking, sucks. Am I wrong? Am I completely off base?
That's a hot topic.
We'll go over the pros and cons of fusion food in general, talk about its evolution into current Asian celebrity chefs, and finally, we'll wrap things up on a more lighthearted note. We'll give you some of our choices for best
That's right.
and worst Asian fusion foods.
That's right, baby.
Do you remember the summer 2021 BTS McDonald's crossover meal?
Yes and no.
Do you remember why it was such a shitty product?
I just feel like, wasn't it just like chicken nuggets with like a sauce?
That's exactly what it was.
It was, right?
It was the generic McDonald's chicken nuggets. All they gave you was a Korean-inspired sauce.
Like Korean barbecue sauce or something, right?
Was it even gochujang sauce?
I thought it was barbecue.
It was some kind of sweet,
Something
tangy,
stereotypical.
light, spicy Korean sauce. But everything else was exactly the same.
They made a fucking burger thing for that rapper. I can't remember who it was too. Was it Travis Scott? Remember Travis?
They did.
Yeah, you know what it was, dude?
It was like this. It was just the regular thing, wasn't it? Repackaged.
It was a quarter pounder with cheese, with bacon, and extra onions, a Sprite, and French fries.
Was that like just Travis Scott's favorite meal whenever he went to
That's all it
McDonald's?
was, dude. That's all they do. The McDonald's like, yo, we're just gonna rebrand it and put his name in everywhere. And people were like, yo, dude, like all those hype piece kids were like getting good stuff.
Okay, maybe the BTS McDonald's thing wasn't as bad then.
Yeah, because it's
All things considered, it's all
that
relative.
BTS army, right? It's a real deal, right?
That shit was selling for 3-4 times the amount on eBay. Just that sauce.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
And just the sauce and the packaging. Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely one of the front runners for worst Asian fusion collab.
I love Shake Shack.
You do.
People that know me know I love Shake Shack.
By the way, if Shake Shack wants to sponsor this episode, please.
Just give me free food. I don't even care.
Yeah, if you can, Thank you so
I
much.
love Shake Shack, but when Shake Shack came out with that Korean gochujang and chicken sandwich,
Yeah.
what are you trying to do?
You tried it?
I tried it. It was not good.
It wasn't, man.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Do what you do well.
Right.
Gochujang, kimchi flavored stuff was getting popular and they wanted to jump on that boat. You can't blame them for what they did, but their execution was poor.
Oh, you know what? Let's use the flashy words. People are going to just want to try it. Like, that's the thing. I feel like
What's
people are going to say,
trending?
like, what's trending? And they're like, gochujang, barbecue, Korean. Oh, we got to try it. They just need to try it once. And then boom, we just made $1 trillion, baby.
Ben, fusion food, yay or nay?
I'm really glad we're talking about this. I know, I want to say yay and nay.
You're always iffy.
Because you gotta kind of have to look at it, from both.
You can never just commit to anything.
Oh, come on. No, I think when we were younger, it was a big fat fucking nay for sure. The way I'm seeing things now, career wise, even for me, that we're just older now. Things get better, things evolve over time. You know,
I think they're changing the terminology now, right? Because I'm seeing less the word fusion actually being used and more quote unquote modern, which I think is a bunch of BS. It's the same thing. It's the McDonald's BTS crossovers of branding fusion food. So let's just stop calling it fusion. Let's just call it modern.
Actually, that's another thing I want to ask you. Like, do you think the word fusion is like it's like a tainted, ugly word?
100%.
They should change it.
100%. That's why you're seeing this conscious effort of rebranding things as modern takes on stuff instead of saying this is a fusion. Though. Yeah,
That's the annoying thing.
When we say fusion, I think it's just easier to understand. That's why we're saying fusion food instead of saying modern food, right?
That's true.
All these restaurants that we've been seeing, because we live in New York City and Queens, which is
greatest city and borough of all time.
I want to say Queens is still the most diverse county in the world.
In the fucking world.
We see a lot of this.
Can I ask you that? I know I've already said I'm 50-50 on calling yay or nay. I'm assuming you're saying like nay.
I've got the shit opinion, but I think
Yeah.
I want to put my foot down on something, and I don't want someone to convince me otherwise. If I had to pick, gun to my head, it's shit.
It's shit for the
There's
younger?
always the exceptions to the rule, but generally speaking, fusion food is shit.
I don't know, man. So I think since we're here since like the beginning, we experienced a good fair amount of really weird, shitty, like cultural appropriation, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of Asian food, fusion. And now that like we're expanding our palate, I think that's kind of like what's making it hard for me to like see.
Okay, just to be fair, I will say, not to be too cynical, fusion food is good as an introduction point for a lot of dishes, flavors that are not so familiar with either the Western audience, or the thing now is there's a lot of kids growing up, millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, that are growing up in the West that don't have as much of a palate for the more traditional flavors and tastes.
I agree with that.
Fusion food is a gateway drug, hopefully to like,
Exactly.
hey, let me try this kimchi quesadilla. Maybe I like the flavor of kimchi afterwards. Like maybe I've never had kimchi before. Like it's not something that I would just eat on its own. But if you stick it, stick it into a vehicle that I'm familiar with, maybe I like the flavor, and maybe I'll transition into other more traditional Korean.
Yeah,
there is a point to be made that fusion food has its place.
Yeah, definitely, for good or for the worst.
When I say the cons about fusion food, I'm just talking about shitty fusion food.
We definitely had our fair share of like terrible Asian fusion. Like in a way, Chinese takeouts, like taking like what Chinese food is, making like fast food ish, kind of like that.
Right. In some ways, Chinese takeout food is the original is the original of fusion food.
Right, it's like the OG, bro.
Familiar flavors and such, but at the same time, it's like packaged and cooked in a way that's more for the general Western audience.
The whole stigma with it has MSG.
Yeah, that's like a completely different rant about MSG.
Yeah, we can rant about MSG later. It's delicious. It's safe for you. I don't know about that
salt.
actually. It's just salt. Exactly.
Doritos has a shitload of MSG.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no one's ranting and raving about Doritos.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they put that stuff in everything.
Do you consider Benihana Asian fusion? I was wondering about that.
That's so weird because I've been to a Benihana maybe once in my life.
Was it with us?
I think it was with you, but
yeah.
At Benihana, you're going there for the spectacle more than you are going there for the food.
Right.
What do they serve at Benihana? Fried rice.
The garlic fried rice, right? Was it garlic fried rice?
They do the volcano thing.
They did, yeah. The shrimp toss.
Benihana, for those that don't know, is this American chain.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's worldwide.
Yeah.
It's hibachi style grill. So you sit in front of this big table. Your chef serves you. He cooks his food on this big flat iron grill right in front of you. He's got 2 spatulas. He's flipping shit. It's like a whole show.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you get fried rice and some grilled meat.
Yeah.
Is that fusion food?
I was like, wait, does it count?
There are some times when I think about Benihana, and I think it's kind of cringy.
Yeah, right. I love Benihana, but I know what you mean. Yeah, fuck it, yeah, man.
But like that was before Korean barbecue got big here in the West. So like if you wanted your Asian-ish kind of barbecue feel, maybe you went to Benihana, I think.
Right, that's what I was thinking, bro. You know?
Choices were limited back.
Like Wall Street dudes are like, hey, what do you wanna eat, Kyle? We should get that authentic.
I feel really exotic this weekend.
Yeah. Oh,
Drive over to that mall.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Get that Benihana.
Oh, yeah. I want that fucking volcano. Yeah. Some sake bombs. There's a lot of really bad Asian fusion restaurants. I was actually talking about this with someone from like Long Island. There's a lot of Asian fusion restaurants in like Long Island.
Long Island, New York City.
Strong Island. That's what they like to say. You walk in and you see these like, especially with sushi, like they fucking take sushi and they Frankenstein the whole thing, especially the rolls. Mm-hmm. Oh, I want the fucking dragon roll, bro. I'm like, oh man. Also, that's another thing. Like,
well, aside from the names.
Yeah, aside from the fucking names, bro.
The names are just a completely different point.
Yeah, it's so stereotypical, bro.
Sometimes I like to give it a pass just because we've grown up with some of these names.
Right.
That it's just a part of it.
For the longest time, I think like the only thing Asian culture had to offer was these things. Chinese takeout. And like these like funky ass rolls and shit. I see how like the amount of people that are open to trying out Asian food, right? Especially like Japanese cuisine. Everyone wants to be a foodie. Right?
Everyone tries to be a foodie.
Everyone tries to be a fucking foodie.
Which is great because that means they're trying to see if there's other flavors that they want to try out. There's absolutely nothing wrong. More props to those people.
Right. But there's those people that think they know more or they think they know what they're talking about. That kind of thing. And then like sometimes I'll have like a guest and I'm explaining to them like, oh, do you know like, white tuna isn't really tuna, right? They're like, what?
Oh, it's technically not even a tuna.
It's not even a tuna fish.
It's just a nickname. That's actually pretty funny because you've worked at some of the more high-class sushi restaurants here in New York City.
Yeah.
Without, dropping names,
I could drop names.
You could drop names? Okay.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Ben, where have you worked?
I've worked at Nobu.
Nobu.
I was working at Zuma, which is kind of like Nobu as well.
These are high class.
Classy schmancy.
This is when you go to Yelp and you filter by $4 signs.
Yeah.
It's those types of restaurants.
It's the restaurants where like all the rappers rap about, like Drake and them.
Speaking of sushi, wasn't the whole California roll thing one of those introductory rolls that was brought over to America to kind of get people into sushi? But the California roll has no raw fish.
No, it doesn't.
It's just rice.
It's rice, cucumber. Sometimes they put avocado in there, but then they put imitation crab.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's more palatable to someone that
it's a fish.
Let's say has never had raw fish before.
Right. It's a white fish.
So the California roll did its job introducing sushi to the mainstream.
Right.
And now sushi is such a trendy thing. Who doesn't eat sushi? Which Westerner doesn't eat sushi except if you have allergies?
It's spicy mayo that like gateways. Like, you know how you brought up kimchi? I didn't think about that when you said it. I was like, oh, you're right. Kimchi is kind of like, you take kimchi and like use it in so many ways now that like people are like, oh, this is amazing.
Nobody thinks about sushi as being
like a fusion type of food.
Not even fusion, like exotic. Pizza on Wednesday, sushi on Thursday, tacos on Friday. There's nothing exotic about sushi anymore.
That is true, yeah.
Probably took things like a California roll or a dragon roll, things that are very normal, and now people are willing to try high-class omakase places and their uni and like all these different kinds of fatty tuna.
Speaking of fatty tuna only became like really prevalent because of the States.
Here in the US, you mean?
Yeah. I forgot where I saw it. I don't know if it was from that. Remember Jiro Dreams of Sushi?
Oh, yeah. Everyone loves that. Everyone saw that show on Netflix, Jiro Dreams of Sushi, and just wanted to go over there.
Yeah, dude, me too. I was like, yo, how do I get a reservation for there? He's like, yo, you could get in the next 8 years. 8 years, Ben-san. There was an interesting part where they were talking about tuna, right? Like tuna belly. In Japan, it was the least desirable part of the fish, the fatty part. Jiro talks about how like it's not the toro you want, which means a fatty tuna in Japanese. That's what it means. You want the lean part of it. You want that ruby dark ass red part of the meat because they say that that's when you can actually taste the fish in like its purest form.
As opposed to the fattiest part, which is pure fat.
Pure fat, just coat your tongue. Like you can't eat anything else after. And I thought that was really interesting. But he was saying like how like the States, they're the ones that like fell in love with it. And that's why now you see like it being so like it's so expensive for it.
It seems like that goes hand in hand with a Wagyu Japanese beef because you see that's a cut that has all that marbling, has all that fat.
Yo, yeah.
And like you have the tuna version of that.
Right, exactly.
Which one is it? Otoro, that's the fattiest one? Or Chutoro?
You know it, man.
Otoro.
Linji's a grandmaster sushi chef, baby.
Jiro Part 2.
Jiro Part 2. What about you? Do you have any like certain dishes you think about? You're like, oh man, that was kind of like weird.
Going back, anything fusion back then. Let's say a fusion Asian salad. Go to Wendy's, Arby's, Burger King. Burger King. At some point, they had an Asian inspired salad.
Yeah,
and all that shit ever was a protein with teriyaki sauce. And mandarin orange slices.
Yeah, yo,
that was legit every Asian salad. That was like the worst.
I forgot about those. You're right. That was pretty
then
bad.
slowly things evolved.
Yeah.
But do you remember the shows on TV, The Great Food Truck War?
I think so, yeah.
Koji barbecue trucks, Gorilla barbecue truck.
Kogi.
Kogi? Is it Kogi?
Kogi means meat.
Oh, see?
No,
that's why you're the resident Korean, just to correct me.
That's right, baby.
The Kogi barbecue truck and the Gorilla barbecue trucks.
Yeah,
when those came out, I kind of think Korean barbecue really became mainstream.
Yeah.
Those food trucks served Mexican tacos, but they used Korean ingredients.
Right, man.
They had a bulgogi taco or
bulgogi quesadilla and shit.
Exactly.
Oof.
People are familiar with Mexican food here in the U.S. especially.
Kimchi mayo and shit. I'm getting hungry with this episode, by the way. Just thinking about this one. I'm just thinking about the food. I'm like, oh man, that's good.
Kogi? Kogi?
Yeah, kogi. It's a hard cook. Yeah.
Those kogi food trucks introduced Korean barbecue to the mainstream.
Yes.
By wrapping it up in a taco.
Yes. Shout out to them.
Big success. That was on mainstream TV and everybody was talking about it.
It's crazy thinking about like at that time, we didn't think of it. Was like that became a really big thing. That kind of like was like a disruption.
Yeah.
If you think about it, there wasn't, back then carts were like hot dog carts, right?
Exactly. Food trucks weren't that fancy. That was like before the whole food truck craze.
You know, I also wanted to talk about like speaking of Crovella and Kogi, right? You got to shout it out. Those Chinese barbecue stick joints.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
Those technically, I was thinking about it, right? Like remember we used to like eat it and stuff. Remember they used to be a fucking $1 back then.
Those carts have stayed pretty traditional.
Yes, you know, like the spices that they used, right? I was like, man, this is crazy. I never had something like this. I remember when I was eating it for the first time. It's really interesting. Obviously, I'm not Chinese, but I was like, damn, this doesn't really taste Chinese. And then I did some research. Now, you can definitely fix me on that.
Resident Chinese,
Go
for it.
You know, the anthropologist Lin Ji-hee. So some of the spices, apparently they were like inspired and derived from like Mongolia, even some parts of like India and some parts of like Muslim countries. That's where I was going to say, like, that's where cultures are like...
That's the real fusion, right?
That's the real fusion, right.
That's the natural selection of fusion food.
Right. That's why I couldn't decide. It's like, oh, fusion, it's such a broad term and describe some things. Maybe we got to change the word. Maybe we got to write modern or contemporary or something.
A lot of Chinese flavors is a mixture of centuries, thousands of years of different fusion of different territories. You cannot say is fusion. That's just a natural evolution of one's food culture. When we speak about fusion food here in the West, it's not that. It's stuff that happens over the course of months, years. You know, it's kind of forced fusion.
So you think fusion is just like an American thing?
Well, we're in our own little bubble here in the US, so it's hard for us to say. I don't want to be the gatekeeper of fusion food, but I'm sure somewhere in Japan, they're making like a hamburger with rice patties.
That's true.
And they're sticking sushi in there. Some Korean guy some Japanese guy is advertising that as American fusion food.
Right.
And we would look at it and say, what the fuck is this?
Damn, it's so confusing, right? It's like there's so much history and like layers to this. You know, like reverse fusion. There's like all this stuff you got to think about.
Reverse fusion?
No, it's just like you're saying.
You mean just original recipe? It feels more appropriate if it's an actual Asian person that's trying to take their recipe and putting a modern spin on it, putting some Western flavors into it. That to me seems more authentic than opposed to some Western chain just saying, "Hey, Korean food is trending now. We need to jump on this boat."
That's what I'm saying. That like
let's take our fries and let's throw some kimchi on top of it and let's just call this fusion.
Yeah, technically, right?
You know, like
put some furikuri on it or something.
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff.
How do you feel about that?
How do I feel about it? If I go to like an Asian fusion restaurant, right? That's how I think about when you say fusion, right? That's kind of like the first gut reaction. And then like I think about like where I worked at Nobu, how seriously they take the tradition that has to be. But people also don't realize like Nobu has a lot of influences from a Spanish restaurant, Spanish cuisine. One of the most popular dishes, they had this thing called the black cod miso. Black cod's not a native fish from Japan. Actually, Chef Matsuhisa, Nobu, he discovered that fish while he was like in Alaska and all that. And he realized like, oh, it pairs really well with miso.
Okay.
The yellowtail jalapeno, it's 6 slices of yellowtail, sashimi style, right? He puts like a ponzu sauce on top, but he puts thinly sliced pieces of jalapeno. And jalapeno is not from Japan. It's, it's native to like South America. Even there's a dish called tiradito, and now I forgot the translation, but that's a Spanish word. Because Spanish people took just like sashimi and then they turned it their way as well. Yeah.
That seems like it's just more natural. It's not him forcing something. There's nothing disingenuous about that.
We have so many modern Asian chefs. They're making, I don't want to say fusion anymore, but like they're taking like Asian food and then they're just trying to expand on it. It's really amazing seeing like how things are evolving with Asian fusion. I hate using it, but that's the truth though.
Yeah, because we have chefs like David Chang from
Choi,
Momofuku, Choi. I don't think they're trying on purpose. Whenever I see David Chang on TV, whenever he talks about his food, it doesn't seem like he's trying to force it. Hey, I need to create this dish that like East meets West, right? I'm going to throw some
right. They're very passionate about it.
And I think part of that is you have this evolution of a different generation of people who maybe grew up either in the West or grew up with more Western influences.
Right.
Yeah, because fusion food in general is confusing, right?
For us Asian Americans, we can tell the difference. There's so many Americans that still eat at like Panda Express or PF Chang's, and they're like, "Oh, this is good Chinese food."
Yeah, sometimes there's a place for PF Chang's or Panda Express when you just want to get that hit, that MSG hit. Do you also think that sometimes now that you're getting less and less of traditional Asian restaurants, is there a place that just doing sondabu and they're just doing traditional sondabu without throwing a pizza into the sondabu? Sondabu is Korean tofu stew.
Yeah. We don't have that issue. And also just like in New York, we can still go to like Chinatown, you can still go to K-Town. It's the newer restaurants that are definitely trying to do like more adventurous stuff. But like there's still a lot of traditional Korean restaurants here.
But there's definitely less of them being opened up.
There's
like,
definitely less now.
The ones that
the
we
ajumas, the harmonies and the harmonies. That means like the ladies and like the grandmas. Yeah.
As good as the food can be, if the customer base isn't there, then unfortunately it's not there. Changing tastes are driving out those traditional mom and pops things.
Yeah.
So you're being forced into like these modern fusion places.
I think you and me, it's safe to say like, I know you're definitely trying be more Chinese. Is that cool to say?
Yeah,
right?
That's cool.
As we got older, like even for me, I was like, damn, like I was thinking like, damn, once my parents are gone, all my like heritage in a way, it's gone with them. And that made me fucking sad. And I was like, for some reason now, I didn't give a shit about like Korean pride or my traditions and stuff. But all of a sudden now, I guess with mortality getting older, I'm like, holy crap, this is like really important to me, like my identity about it,
Exactly.
Like I remember you were mentioning about like, you're trying to make sure your son wants to learn Chinese, right? You want him to know English and Chinese.
It's strange. Our generation of Asian American, you grow up with a very Western background. The parents speak one native language at home. You have one native type of food at home.
Right.
We balance the best of both worlds.
Right.
And when we're younger, we don't appreciate it as much.
Or try harder to like keep up with that other aspect in our life, right?
Yeah.
Like you speak Chinglish, I speak Konglish.
Exactly.
I remember my parents would always say like, your Korean used to be really good until, like you got older. I was like, shit. Our friends make fun of you. I know when you speak Chinese and stuff. Yeah. Like, damn, Lindsay, your Chinese sucks. Yep. I'm like, does it? I guess. It sounds cool. But
it's one of those things where now that we're older, we're trying to like
I see it
correct what we didn't give a shit about when we were younger.
Right.
And you try to make that conscious effort.
Right. You had that same thing going into your head though, right?
Yeah, exactly. There comes a point where it just clicks. Hey, holy shit. If you don't keep the traditions of your household, then no one's going to do that for you.
Right, exactly.
And like to a certain extent, because we're first generation Asian Americans,
I
feel like I have more of a responsibility to put forth that effort to try to like keep that.
Same.
A lot of that tradition comes down to Asian dishes.
Exactly.
It's sad, but even to this day, I still have a really, I still have a really shitty recipe book in my head of the dishes that my parents cook. When I go over to my parents' house and we have more traditional dishes, it's nostalgic for me, obviously, but I can't cook like half of this.
Right, I was gonna say, like, you're like, how do I replicate this? How do I get mom's cooking?
Why am I at home trying to learn how to make a tiramisu?
Right.
When I can't make this yuping.
Right.
Yuping is just this.
Is that dessert?
No. It's like a fried fish thing. It's not dessert at all. Yuping is this thing my dad makes. He scrapes the meat off of a whole fish.
Yeah.
He takes that fish meat paste, he mixes it with flour, some chopped shrimp, other things, I'm sure. And then that gets made into a ball, gets fried, and then gets steamed, and then it's sliced. That's a very nostalgic dish that my parents always make that I always love eating, but I have no fucking idea how to make it.
It's scary.
Like I said, why am I trying to make tiramisu?
That's true.
Why am I trying to learn how to do that shit?
Yeah. It's crazy. Like the two most vital things are the lifelines of preserving your heritage is language and food.
Exactly.
Those two you can pretty much
suck at both.
Yeah.
Dude, that's not good.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right. But
maybe bottom line is fuck fusion food. Go over to your parents' place and learn how to make whatever it is that you like.
Yo, you're right, man. I think that's what we're trying to say, man. Yo, fuck fusion, bro. Yo, fusion can wait. All right, put fusion on pause. Let's go back in time. You mentioned it. Can I make that yu ping, right? That awesome yu ping, that awesome Chinese dessert, that fish dessert thing. I do like a few nights ago. My mom made like kimchi jjigae, right? Fuck, this is so good.
What's kimchi jjigae?
It's like kimchi stew.
Oh, that's
like
the
tofu, bean
kimchi
sprouts.
military stew thing?
That's booty jjigae.
Sorry.
Or booty jjigae. That's what they call it, booty jjigae sometimes. It's similar though. I was just like eating. I was like, damn, I can't make this her way. Bean sprouts, some tofu, the pork, the samgyeopsal in there and stuff. And there's sometimes where like I'm trying to cook American or just different culture foods for my parents, just so they can try something different and
try
they
to
like
infuse some stuff into them.
Right, but then like you said, man, why am I fucking making tiramisu? First of all, that's bad for them. You know, like they don't need that shit. I'm trying to do that as well. You know, eventually when I do have like a kid, wherever, or if I do have a kid already.
Good luck to them.
Yeah, good. Yeah, Godspeed. You know, to my future wife as well. A million apologies. Ben Jr., little Benita, whatever you want to call her. Oh, I gotta make sure they know, like, you know, some things of what it means to be like Korean, you know, with the food and the culture. Before it was so hard to find like information on how to do things, but thank God for YouTube University, right?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
YTU, you can literally like, thank God you can find, you know, certain videos and there's like still Korean ajumas or, you know, I'm sure there's a Chinese, what do you call them? IEs. The IEs out there.
Thank God for YouTube.
Thank God for YouTube, baby.
Preserving our heritage. Because we are doing a shit job.
Oh, man. YTU, baby. Where'd you get your degree? Oh, YTU. Wow.
Favorite fusion dishes? Least favorite fusion dishes? You got any recommendations?
Okay. Fusion done right. The banh mi sandwich. You know, the Vietnamese, right?
Banh mi sandwiches.
Yeah. People don't realize the bread itself. It's inspired from French. Is it true that some of them can spit French right there?
I have no idea.
Oh shit, I made that up. Maybe I'm confusing for Canada.
Someone confirm that to us.
Yo, any Vietnamese viewers or listeners, please, can you fact check us?
Who also speak French?
Yes, that too, please. But yeah, man, like that's been done right.
You know what's strange? Like on my list of good fusion things, the same category, tacos is the ultimate vehicle of giving you someone else's taste. You can put bulgogi, put kalbi, poke, sliced raw fish. I've seen curry tacos. You need a good vehicle. And the fucking taco is the perfect vehicle for trying my culture's flavor.
Yeah.
You put a protein, you put some flavors, you put some sauces.
To another one of my favorite foods that I didn't think I was going to really enjoy. It was like years ago. We went to Mad for Chicken.
Oh, Mad for Chicken is a Korean chicken spot.
Korean fried chicken. That's another thing, man.
Yeah.
You know,
is that fusion?
It's definitely new. It's definitely new.
It's new here in the West or it's new globally?
New globally. Like it wasn't like something like they made back then.
I'm going to take your word for it because I have absolutely no idea. All I know is Korean fried chicken is delicious.
It's too delicious. I know that soy garlic, that's spicy, right?
Yeah, forget Colonel Sanders. Koreans know how to do fried chicken well.
Yeah.
Korean fried chicken, best fried chicken.
Yeah, that crispiness.
Double fried.
Double fried technique. Which Korean dude was like, oh, if we double fry, oh, 맛있어. Oh, what about you? What's like one of your favorite foods?
The two that I had on the top of my mind was also banh mi and tacos. Going on to my least favorite fusion things. I got a lot to say.
Okay.
I got a lot to say.
I have a feeling.
Should I go first?
Yeah, please, man. Go for it.
What the fuck is a sushi burrito?
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely one on the list.
It's just a giant ass roll. You know, a sushi burrito is not even fusion food. It's like an enlarged version of something. If I took a chicken wing, I just made it 5 times the size. It's not called fusion food. That's not anything special.
It just doesn't hold well. You know what? It's also texture is really important. It's just mushy. It's like you're eating baby food.
One final thing, and I've just been seeing this trending recently. It's called crow sushi.
Crow sushi?
Crow sushi. It's a croissant.
Like the actual bread croissant.
Like a full croissant. And in the middle, they'll just shove Japanese-inspired things.
Salmon,
avocado, rice. They'll just shove that into the middle of a croissant. It's called crow sushi.
That's fucking stupid.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Forced fusion.
That's fucking stupid.
A croissant is delicious. A croissant and a cup of coffee on its own is like perfect. Like a nice, warm, hot croissant is perfect. Sushi on its own is perfect.
That's kind of gross.
Please don't mix the two together.
That's kind of gross, actually.
When are you even supposed to eat that? Breakfast?
Yeah, that's just gross, man. You know, I remember came out for a while. It was like the biggest fad, and I thought it was so stupid. The fucking ramen burger. Remember that shit?
I 100% forgot about the ramen burger.
Yeah, man.
This was like during the food truck craze of 2010s, early 2010s.
Look at us. The great food truck rush of 2010s.
But the ramen burger, for anyone that doesn't know, do you want to go into it?
Dude, you can explain it.
The ramen burger
fucking sucked.
Is what it is. a beef patty in the middle. Sometimes it has like a teriyaki base again, a teriyaki glaze,
Yeah.
a teriyaki demi glaze or whatever it is.
Demi-glace.
So it's that patty in the middle, but instead of having a bread bun on top and the bottom, it's a bun made out of ramen.
Yeah. And there was like so many people teaching how to make it, this and that with the runny egg.
This was hashtag trending before there was such a thing.
Can't you say like the ramen burger is what started the whole let's just try to make different foods and shit? It was definitely one of it. It's like the OGs. It goes in the Hall of Fame.
It goes in the Hall of Fame of the things that you should not do.
Right.
It worked. It got trendy. Everyone lined up to get it.
No, it wasn't.
It was not good at all.
No, dude.
But you had to line up like an hour just to have one.
Yeah, dude.
At the end of the day, good food is good food. If you fucking love ramen burgers, if a crow sushi is your thing, if you love tiramisu with fish, you do you.
Yeah, just stay away from me.
We're going to go in for a couple minutes to rant and rave about whatever we want. Ben, what do you got?
Did I tell you, like, one time I went on like a date with this Chinese girl, and she wanted to eat malantang, right? Yeah. I didn't know what it was.
Oh, really? Was this a long time ago?
This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, like, you know, I love spicy. I was like, yeah, me too. Yeah. And she's like, have you ever had malantang? I'm like, you know, and I was like, I can't look like a little bitch. I don't know. A little spicy as fuck too, dude. That shit fucking hurt. But she's like, yeah, you like spicy? I was like, yeah, baby, whatever. Yeah. You know, I was going to be a yes man. And she's like, oh, let's try malantang. I was like, I love malantang. I was like, oh, me too. So we go to the spot. She orders it for us. I said, I like it really spicy. I'm like, me too. You know, let's do it, babe. And, you know, they bring it out. What the fuck? It's just fucking red. And
malantang is like this noodle soup.
Yes.
Is mala flavor, which is spicy.
Mala.
Yeah, which is spicy.
Google the image. You'll see it. It looks like if fire could be dried. What is this? Oh, she's like so excited. So we're eating it. My mouth does get watery just thinking about it, though, because it is good.
It's numbing. It's got that.
Yeah, like my mouth is watering just talking about it now. But I was like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? It's like a different type of spicy. People say like Korean food is spicy. I'm like, no, but I think it comes back to
different types of spices,
right? Like Indian spicy is fucking spicy. Yeah. Thai spicy is spicy. I didn't know there was like Chinese spicy.
So did you like the malantang?
I loved it, but dude, I was like, yo. I'm sweating just thinking about this right now. PTSD, bro. Dude, like, I was sweating. I had to ask the waitress, like, please more water and napkins. I was like, please, 911. You know, I was like blinking SOS to the wait staff, like, yo, I'm gonna die here. And she's like eating it, like, she's like
it's nothing.
Like nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. All right. But yeah, what was this something you wanted to rant about, bro?
Yeah, on a very serious note.
Oh, damn.
And this is gonna trigger a lot of people. Air fryers suck.
Do you have one?
No. What is the obsession with air fryers? You know, we're talking about fusion food today, and an air fryer is a fusion of a traditional oven and a fryer.
I don't own one myself.
Air fryers suck.
They're big and clunky. Single task items.
That is true. You know what's worse? You know what's worse than air fryers themselves? People who rant and rave about their air fryers.
Oh man, you're right.
Anyone that has an air fryer, it's like when they have a baby and they just keep showing you their baby photos.
Damn.
People with air fryers. Yeah. You know why you don't like fried chicken? Because you haven't tried it in an air fryer. You can reheat that much better in an air fryer.
That's right. They always have to mention the fucking word air fryer.
They always have to say
like
why the air fryer is good.
They'll be like, yo, so what you eat? It's like, oh, I air fried some chicken. Like, what the fuck? Just say chicken. Damn, man. So, yo, man, I'm gonna buy you an air fryer, bro.
I'm gonna throw it in your face. Okay, that wraps it up for today. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on all the socials. You can find us on
every platform,
every podcast platform, every social media. If you're too lazy to look us up, we're at the handle Worst Asian Pod on all of them. You can also go to www.worstasianpod.com. It'll link you to all our socials. If you're listening to this somewhere, leave us a review and rating.
And a like and a subscribe.
It does something.
And a donation.
Maybe not that. Stay tuned next week. We're going to be talking about, do Asians care too much about money?
Stay tuned.